the heck just happened? Who did that? Cat, thank you. Oh my god, 5 months already? Is it really going that fast? That is so fast. Speaking of fast, um, guys, as a crew, we need to figure out a day to get some Seas of Thieves in. I know Eridar's working, so I know it's tough. And Cat, I know you got a pretty busy schedule too. I'm thinking weekdays. It's just, we'll just have to see. But I know Eridar gets up around the time when I'm still awake. But Cat, yours is tricky. Cat gifted Eridar? Ooh. Wait, what? I think Eridar's already a sub dog. Right? I think so. Cat, you're awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna do something right here for you subs real quick. I think starting in January though, I want to do a few different things. From 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Wow, that's tough. So pretty much about an hour ago you got off. Okay. I know. And Cat, we never played Star Citizen. I feel so bad. You know. I got it installed still, so maybe the next replays we'll get on there. We got to do something about the game. The game's getting hate, and I feel like, and it's not the game content. People love what the game has. It's the development that people are complaining about. I think we're getting so impatient. I don't know. You know, they're calling it the real estate of spaceships now, and it's like the company can only do what they can do. You know, they learn from their mistakes, and financially they're doing the right thing now. In the beginning it was tough for them, so we can only wait it out and see. You know. The holidays, yeah, I know the holidays. So you guys do Christmas, right? I mean, I don't want to get like holy gospel holiday-ish with you guys. We'll have to see what's going on with that. All right, so we get into this room. Door was locked, right? For those of you that was watching before, episode 2, we got into this room, and that's it. We just kind of paused it right there. We're now taking off with episode 3. We made some progress. I believe we're on chapter 6. I believe. I don't remember entirely. Can't do anything with the body here. This is a spooky room. Bad things will happen here, guys. Yes, it will. Holy mackerel, what the? I can pick this up. There's like weird pictures in this game, guys. Cat can speak. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What did you guys do? What did you guys do? What is this? Matches. Yo, I got so many matches in this game. It's crazy.
You're fired!
What the hell? Do you hear that? It's locked, guys. Door's locked. All right. Oh, by the way, Scary Movies, guys. Great movie. If you haven't saw it, make sure you watch Scary Movies. I thought it was pretty cool. I think they're gonna make a part 2. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna spoil the movie or what it is or what it's about, but definitely, I would say they're gonna be making a part 2 pretty soon. Why is Trixz saying that in chat? He's supposed to whisper that. Yo, Solid, what's up, man? How are you, bro? By the way, I did see you while we were running a rerun. You came in and gifted some subs, bro. I appreciate it big time. All right, let's gotta continue on with it. Now, what was it? That was the slap command, right? What command was it? That was you're doing a great job, Solid. Keep up the great work, bro. Keep up the great work. That was a slap.
Dame tu cosita, dame tu cosita, ay, dame tu cosita, dame tu cosita, ay, dame tu cosita, muévete para aquí, muévete para allá, dame tu cosita, ay.
Oh man. Can't find it. Can't find it through all this gibberish. Did I screw something up? Ow. Just why? I don't even think I actually have this as a I don't think I categorized this. Hold on. App is right here. Why is it right here? Let me actually group this. Shoot, what was it? SF command. Crap. Well, it's all good. I can just keep it here for now. I'll deal with this for now. That explains why. It's not whisper. Just doing the that is better. Right. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm gonna have to work on the channel points for you guys. I'm gonna try to see what else we can add. There is a lot of limitations. There's not much I can really do with it. All right, here we go. So we made it into the room. A bunch of lock cabinets and stuff. Why is this there again? Oh boy. Let's open up some cabinets, see what we find here. Nothing, absolutely nothing. By the way, Thomas, did you add me on Call of Duty? And by the way, Solid, we need to get on there sometime together, bro. We haven't really played Call of Duty in a long time. What is going on? 5 more subs on top. Dude, you're killing it, bro. Guys, look at the bottom of the corner where it says total subscribers, 16. We were at 8. What, a couple days ago? And you guys are coming in, you're resubscribing. Some people just forget to subscribe sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't automatically do it, which is really bad because some people just forget. You know, I wish the subscription thing was more like reliable. I just feel like it's not so good. Yeah. So yeah, things are great. You know, today we have Cat coming in 5 months in a row, coming in with the sub. We had Dorelis coming in, resubscribing to the channel, which was really nice of them. Solid came in and gifted 2 tier 1 subs, guys, to the stream. You know, Zeus has been coming in, raiding the channel like crazy. We've been getting cheer bits from Solid and from Kirby. Project Zero came in with the resubscription. I can't even talk right now. A lot of people, guys. I got the activity feed right here, and I'm just looking at it. You guys are amazing, guys. I really, stats wise, we're looking pretty good. You know, right there, the bar up there in the top middle. That's our sub bar goal, and getting really close. You know, are we in a rush? Not really. Am I grateful? Absolutely. You know, you guys are awesome. Oh, and by the way, Solid, I do see your message somewhere else. Thank you. Sorry I didn't reply to you on there. Okay, so we're back into the room. We gotta go through here, and we got some like tentacles in the way. I don't know if we want to go through that. No, this looks like a Christmas like furnace here, guys. Can you actually see up in there? I don't know if we can. Oh, we can get in there. No, maybe no. I don't think we can get in there, guys. I think it's more of a decoration type of deal. Right, Solid. I appreciate it, bro. You have no idea.
Damn roots again. They seem too tough for me just to break them. I can't deal with it with my bare hands. I need some kind of sharp tool.
But don't we have that saw thingy? I'm scared, guys. Yo, Solid, you would love games like this, bro. I remember. You can get into some horror games. I can definitely picture you playing this game, bro. You don't have COD Mobile? Nah, Thomas, I have Modern Warfare, bro. You see this, play it. Just make sure you add me. And by the way, Solid Snake plays Call of Duty on PlayStation. Make sure you guys add each other up, too. I'm sure you guys are always looking for new people to play with. So it's locked there. So what the... Where'd the body go? Where the heck did the body go? Guys, what is going on here? Not good. This is not good at all. Let me fix this microphone. I feel like it's all over the place. This is not supposed to be happening right now. Oh, I can't move. Holy macaroni.
What? I couldn't just get up and walk away.
Oh, he did. Holy!
Let me go. Help!
What the hell is in his hand? He's holding a bomb.
Relieve you of your life, you Yankee bastard! You can't stop the assassination! Lincoln McCaper's lies!
Got the bomb from like Mario? Put it in his body. There you go. He tried to throw a grenade at me. Yo, we just killed a dead man that was a dead man. Holy macaroni. What? Yo, he just put the bomb in his gut. Eat your bomb. Eat it, eat it. Eat it, eat it. Where'd the body go? Right there. Look at that. So why'd you come alive and try to take me out? I think he thought I was somebody else. Oh, we're going to take the shears. That's what they're called. I got the name of them, guys. That's crazy. Yeah, my username is Trixz2007. Yes, it is, Thomas. Make sure you add me, bro. All right, we're going to go ahead and break this down. And... What the hell are these things? All right, we made our way back outside, guys. We just got to figure out what the heck else is next here. Oh, okay. Can I jump down outside? Oh, we cannot. Holy! What the hell's on the other side there? Nobody? They just wanted to fall, right? Is all it is? I think we're good. You got me when you get back on. Sweet. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you so much, bro. It'd be nice to play some Call of Duty with you sometime. I will be doing some viewer games soon. So for those that want to participate and jump in, guys, subs, you already know. You guys get first tips on everything. And then we'll go ahead and do some viewer games as well. Try to just get you guys squeezed in and stuff. Okay. What else do we got going on here? This is bad news, yo. Search George's office. Why are we in George's area? But right now we're at this point. We're on the 3rd floor? What? Okay. We're on the 3rd floor, guys. I don't feel like I hear somebody. I don't like this hallway. This is bad. We're gonna hold it down. We're gonna try to do what we need to do here. Okay, this is George Whitehead. Now, this was the GW, I believe we were seeing. Oh, lockpick. All right, we got this. got it. Look at that. Am I streaming later? Depends how I feel, guys. It really depends on how I feel. I can. I won't be streaming at night. Remember, I don't have a phone right now, guys. I won't be the phone that I use for streaming is turned off for now. I won't be able to use that, guys. Unfortunately, I can only do it if I'm like on Wi-Fi. I mean, I could do hotspot, but it's not gonna be the best, really. To be, I don't have a choice with that. So, right, that was easy lock picking. Oh, what the?
You were supposed to check every possibility, Norton. You're a judge, and you should know how to bend the law without breaking it.
The contract states you can both hand over your shares without each other's consent. I'm sorry, George, but you signed it yourself.
I never thought that bastard would try to outwit me, and that his demented spawn would sneak into the mine.
What do you expect?
The brat cannot inherit. We have to persuade that old fart somehow, or we'll end up with nothing.
Did that really happen? Did they plot against my father and me?
Ooh, you're going to the store later on. Okay. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh, I was gonna say this room looked familiar, but never mind. Yeah. Take a look around, see what else we find here. Guys, we got ourselves some keys. A bunch of keys can be accessed to reception rooms 107 to 208.
All we have to do is go back to the reception desk and find Gilman in the guest registry.
Boric acid? What the heck are you doing with boric acid in your desk, dude? Some of the cork is missing. Oh, wait. We got some matches. Ooh, we got ourselves a nice little empty bottle here. That's a really thick piece of glass. Did you guys just hear a door just opened? Drink it, right? Yo, drink it? Hey, what they say, what goes in comes out, right? I don't like this room at all whatsoever. This is bad news, yo. Yo, okay, I am rocking, like, so much things. Like, we have a lantern. I just don't like using it because it takes up so much. I don't want to run out of things, guys. They give us a lot, though. They're pretty nice about it. This is another piece of paper here. What if I turn it? Wednesday, September 13th, 1854, Blackstorm, New Hampshire. Monday, September 11th, the sheriff issued an arrest warrant for Jacob Hyde, a mine and inn owner. Hyde is accused for murdering Judge John Norton, who, badly wounded, passed away upon arrival. In the end, a $500 reward is being offered. I'm scared something's gonna jump out at me every time I read something, guys. We gotta watch ourselves. It's all locked up. Judging by the description, Henry seems like a typical melancholic. But I wouldn't jump to conclusions and say that he must be committed suicide. Too many people have gone missing in these parts, and certainly not all of them were overly sensitive. I'm not reading all that. Just take it. Okay, drawers, no drawers. Yep, we got some kerosene in here. We're going to take some of that. We got some drawers in the bottom. There, though, we got a bed, setting on a bed. I see a lot of these, like, same pictures around the map, but hey, it's okay. It's still a decoration, right? Yeah, we'll have to do it on Discord, Solid. I won't be able to, like, call you physically. My phone's actually off right now. You know what I thought about doing? At one point, I actually thought about doing, like a stream number, right? But then I was like, because you know how like some people do like Google Hangouts or whatever, and then like some other things. But I don't know, guys. I just feel like maybe that'd be kind of weird. People might get creeped out by it, so I didn't go with it. Oh, wait. More matches. Here we go. Hoi! Holy shit, you're chasing me! What the hell do I do? Oh gosh. Holy shiznits, yo! What the budget popsicles is going on? Do I go this way? I go this way. I hide in here. Oh gosh. Oh my dear gosh. Where the hell do I go? Am I safe? Holy crap, a lady with the knife. I'm not doing that again. All right, we got a key for something. Holy sh! God!
Mic off.
My dear gosh! Stop it! Stop it! Jeez, Whitakers, man! They're all locked. Oh, we got a key for this, y'all. I don't trust you guys. I'm shutting this. Let's see the AI try to open that up.
Which room did the detective stay in?
Holy, what the? Hey? Oh. Hey, I was trying to grab the key. What are you doing? It's crazy, man.
Detective was staying in room 203.
203.
That's upstairs. It looked like he never checked out. There should be a spare key somewhere. Ah, blazes! The key for room 203 is missing. But maybe I can get there from room 202. I must find out how much Gillian knew.
Open these bad boys up. All right, let's take a look around, see what else we got here, guys. We got a bunch of... Okay, this is all locked up. Grabbing everything, man. I'm grabbing everything. I think we pretty much looked at everything here, guys. Wait, do I want to go up or go down or check the side? I have no idea. I guess we're going up top. What the heck? Oh no! Did you guys just see them? What? Oh, Thomas, you're absolutely right about that. We don't want that happening right now. That would just be terrible bad news. We don't want that. All right, let's continue on. We know that guy's probably going to be chasing us. You gotta be kidding me. I don't think the enemies come out here, which is perfect. What the hell is that? We haven't been in that room yet. The game just, it's saving right now. I see it. Bad news, man. Alright, guys, let's figure out. Yo, I don't remember, like, okay, so we never got to get to this area yet. What the? What? You're playing with my emotions right now. Playing with my emotions. I'm done. We can't go back, guys. This game really doesn't want me to go back. I'm gonna. Oh! Dig. Okay, I can't look around corners like most games, so that's not good. He's gonna see me, yo. Oh no, this is bad. This is truly bad. Looks like he's just repeating himself. Alright, let's let him go back. We're gonna go right here.
From 202, I can easily get to the next room. I need to know how much he has found out.
Alright, let's be careful here, guys. He's gonna see me, man. I don't know what kind of like visibility the enemy has or how he can see me or whatnot. How am I supposed to do this? I don't know. I don't know how we're gonna get past him. He moves kind of quick. I think I gotta go that way. Oh boy, I'm scared. We might make a bad move on this one, guys. All right, once he moves back out the other way to the right, I think we're gonna go ahead and try to sneak past. But I think he's gonna know. Ooh! Oh my God, he is right there. Oh, I can't go that way. What the heck? Where the hell am I supposed to go? I went the wrong way? Oh, man. Maybe I gotta go to the left. Oh, I think I see it. Okay, cool. I got it. Okay, so, all right. There's that little shelf. We're gonna try to get behind it as soon as he turns back around again. Man, time flies, guys. So he's looking right at me. Oh, I'm in trouble. He's behind the wall. I think we're okay. He heard me too. I should have ran Holy, I'm an idiot. Why did I run, guys? I'm gonna crawl. I'm not gonna... I think we're safe. He can't get in now. This is dangerous. But I think we're okay. We're good now. We're going out the windows. I think that's what we're doing. Yeah. This is where I need to be? Yeah, it's the only place I need to be right now. All locked up, guys. Interesting. Okay, so let's grab some more matches. Wait, really? This game is dark, but not that dark, right?
Gilman,
Crap.
open the door. We need to talk, just you and me.
Greetings, Mr. Hyde.
Cut the pleasantries. I know what you're up to.
I don't really know why you're so upset. I really...
You aren't the only hack who thought he could sniff out a scoop.
But I'm not looking for a scoop. I just want to sort this out. There's something unsettling going on in this charming little corner of the world. So many people have gone missing, including your friend, Judge John Norton. I want to find him. Please. That's my sole motivation.
You can shove him up your ass. You want to prove I'm responsible for his vanishing, because you're just desperately looking for a story that will get you publicity.
The word publicity sounds strange, coming from someone specializing in sweeping things under the rug. 2 years have passed since the incident in the mine, and many things still remain unclear. People lost their lives. Many others have gone missing since, and you act like it was just a minor incident.
It was an accident. A tragic accident that cost the lives of my employees and ruined my business. That's all.
Oh, I'm afraid that's not all. Ever since then, people have gone missing in the area. Many people, even guests of this establishment.
Enough! I want you out of my inn by tomorrow. Do you hear me?
Yeah, Home Sweet Home is a really fun game.
The detective left something here.
A bunch of these. Okay, the disappearance started right after the accident at the mine. I'm aware that the neighborhood isn't very safe, with all the forests, mountains, swamps, caves, and whatnot, but I don't believe that it's all a coincidence. I also find it hard to believe that the explosion was a mere accident, even though Jacob's version was confirmed by the investigating officers. One of the locals told me that right before the explosion, Hyde had brought several barrels of gunpowder to his lot. Going to go to the mine and check for the shaft of evidence that Hyde could have left there. The sheriff might not have overlooked something, or it might have even been bribed. Maybe that will shed some light on the disappearance. Huh.
The detective went to the mine that day. Nobody knows if he ever came back. I must retrace his steps. There may still be traces of what happened back then. I vaguely remember the accident, but gunpowder barrels, missing people? What's happened here? My father was a cruel man, I can't deny that. But would he be capable of killing in cold blood? I guess I'll have to go down into the mine. Great. That's just great.
Maybe that's a place I don't want to go.
It's locked. I should look for another exit in this room.
What the heck? Oh. Why is it so red in there? Something ain't right. Oh, that door is wide open. I don't like this. Let's be careful here, guys. What the heck? Whoa. Just takes a little bit of practice, Thomas. Takes a little bit of practice, bro. And really, honestly, I'm not a pro. Trust me, I've seen some pros. Crazy game.
Can't be real.
This is crazy, yo. What the heck am I looking at here? We'll take some of those. Can't even see the map anymore. Okay, so once we go out this door, it's probably gonna be dangerous. Whoa. We're playing a game called The Beast Inside. I believe this is a console. I don't know if it is or not. Well, thank you, Thomas. Yeah, when I first played PC games, bro, I was a complete utter noob. I'm not gonna lie, no shame. Just practice, bro. I used to love, you know, I got to the point where I used to like hack to use a controller in video games, but then I came to realize, why am I going through all that? Just get used to mouse and keyboard.
I must have lost my mind.
I can't get out of here. Thank you, Salad. We're in big trouble, guys. Oh, what the hell? Oh, somebody's upstairs. Oh, there's somebody upstairs. Get on a table here. I feel safe. Oh, I can't get on a table. This is bad news, guys. Bad news.
Is it only in my head?
Oh, by the way, just for giggles, with Game Pass, Metal Gear Solid, it's actually included now, guys. I might be playing that soon. What's in this room? Nothing? This is the same place we saw the bloody body. What the hell? It's all blocked off. I think it wants me to follow the blood path, but I'm not going to follow the blood path. Okay, we're all blocked off here, guys. Can't get out any of the windows. We're locked in. So we got no choice but to follow the blood path. So let's go. So right now, here's where we are, guys. We got to somehow get downstairs again. We'll figure it out. Oh, boy. Where is this? Where are you taking me? I love how all these candles, this is so romantic. We got the candles out. It's looking great, guys. It's looking great, you know? I like it a lot. Wait, this window opens. Did for a second, I saw it and then it like, oh my gosh. What's with the big, huge chains, guys? I don't understand. Oh boy. We are downstairs though. Oh, I know we're about to get chased. I know it. I so feel it.
I think I'm going mad.
Holy mackerel. Dude, screw that. I just climb it. He ain't watching his back. This looks like Sino. Holy shoot. Oh dear gosh. Run for your life. Like, no. You gotta be kidding me. Oh my god, I'm in this one. Oh no, 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 no. Get the hell out of here. Holy shiz, the mother of nits and fathers. Gosh. Lock that bad boy and run. Okay, that didn't work. Okay, we out. Sorry. Adios, amigos. Where the hell am I going? Holy mother. Holy gosh, Louise. You guys are psychopaths. What the? Oh, dear. Holy. Okay. All right, you guys got me in my beat. Let's go. Come on. Yeah, he is on my hiney. I feel it.
I have to run.
Oh, what the? Oh, this place is collapsing. Holy shoot. Okay, yep. What the heck? Oh, no. Oh, he is on me. Okay, we go this way. What the? Dude, you better run. He is a psychopath. Wow, that's all I gotta say. That was great. Oh, I felt that rush. That was perfect. Woo! Woo! Man! Chapter 7, guys. We beat the chapter. Holy moly. Dear gosh. Please help me. That was tough. Holy moly. I'm gonna step away for a second, catch a breather, but I won't be very far. Man. Tough one, guys. Tough one. Wow, that was great. That was actually really good. I like that. All right, let's keep it coming. Oh, we're still continuing on right away.
What is going on?
I think I just broke a nail.
Where am I? How? All of a sudden...
Oh, I'm playing this guy now.
Did someone knock me out when I was at the ruins? But why would they drag me here?
Using. Yeah, no, that is crazy.
How am I supposed to go home?
So we're kind of like taking place of the character. Yo, I'm getting like phenomenal FPS. I love this. Alright guys, we need to look around here and see. Find a way home.
I need to find the way home.
What is this?
There's a map lying there.
Okay, we're taking the crank. Wow. Okay, Crystal Lake. Really? What is this, Friday the 13th? You guys see Crystal Lake on the map there? What? What? Unbelievable. Whoever has set this camp left behind a map. All right, well, we're gonna take
to the
it.
map, the house should be nearby. I just have to make it through that cave.
I don't know what that happened. Wait, I don't know when that happened. I woke up and I knew my wife wasn't my wife. Somebody replaced her at night, pretending to be my significant other. I was terrified, but I didn't let it show. I went to our son's room to tell him some mean lady is pretending to be his mommy. He was still asleep, so I woke up by shaking him gently by his shoulders. He opened his eyes, surprised, and then it hit me. It wasn't my son. I didn't know that child. It certainly wasn't mine. Petrified with terror, I ran into the hallway. I rested my hands on my knees, trying to overcome dizziness. When I stood back up, I saw a man in front of me. "Who the hell are you?" he yelled. "What are you doing in my house?" I didn't answer. I was too stunned. I had never seen such nerve. But when I tried to grab him by the throat, my hand only hit the hard surface of a mirror. The menacing instantly The menacing intruder instantly fell into pieces, screaming with a voice that sounded just like mine. Ours. What if I turn this around? Think. Huh. How do I bring up the map? Oh, I is inventory. Okay, or P. Huh. Interesting. Jason out. Yeah, that's Crystal Lake, man. We better be careful. All right, there's other tents here, but I don't think there's anything we can really do with them. I don't get how the tent's not covering the ground. Look, you can see the dirt. Look. Dirt's in there. What are you doing? Just sleeping on the ground? Oh, these must be some really cheap tents. Oh, we gotta find our way home, guys. How do I look at the map, though? I gotta look at it this way? Well, how do I know where I am? Old house? Painted area? Campsite. Holy shoot. So I gotta go down, go through the ruins, the cave. Alright, so pretty much just gotta go down south, southeast, sort of. Okay. Well, I don't have a compass or nothing, so I don't know how this is gonna work. I think I need to go the other way, but I want to check this way out first. Yep. Okay. I see. So it's pretty much already pre-laid out. Oh, maybe not. Wow. Get into the cave. To the cave we go. Let's go to the cave. Let's try to behave and let's try to get home. Wife's waiting for me, but I'm nowhere to be seen. Man, she's going cuckoo. I don't know what's going on now, so I just like to sing because it makes me feel better than being scary. Look in the area. Huh. Weird place. This is the ruins, right? Signpost for no sign. Okay.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Duh.
They're really hanging here. Someone actually did murder these people and leave their bodies here in this fucking godforsaken place where Emma and I just happened to move. Fuck, 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 fuck.
Death to traitors. What the hell is going on here? Wow, these are like normal people here. I believe we go this way.
Emma's on her own back there.
Yeah, well, dude, we gotta try to make it first, right? Alright, guys, so in the ruins, we got hanging people. Don't know why. Obviously, they're traitors, so... Death to traitors, that's what they were implying. Alright, so we're back in through the cave. I fall, guys, that's it. I get
There's
no...
that damn place again.
I get no signal in here. Go through the cave. No? Is that even allowed?
Christ, is this... Oh, fuck, fuck. What was that? What is going... They must have poisoned me, but how? Coffee. They must have slipped something into my coffee. Or maybe all those transmitters or some kind of emitters to mess with my mind.
Hold on. I thought you weren't allowed to have kids in video games with like... What? Because I know that was like a big deal about kids in like games like with death, violence, and like making even children zombies was even against the rules. Is this allowed? It's obviously a child or just a really young midget. Oh, that's wow, just wow. Yeah, I don't know. That's crazy. This game is called The Beast Inside. Yeah, I like it a lot. It's a really cool game. I don't know if it's on console yet or if it will, but right now it's on PC. Okay, dead children. Makes sense. Let's carry on there. Why do these rocks look so weird? All right, Minecraft time. Let's go. Break it. Yeah, I noticed that. Maybe I'm thinking like before. I know there was like a big rule about it, like you couldn't have kids dying or violated or something. I don't know, but it's kind of, I mean, I'm not against it. I mean, to me it makes it immersive. I mean, how are children gods or like invincible in the video game? You know, they're just as vulnerable as an adult. So but I know there was like rules that apply to that. But then again, I don't know, I could be wrong. I mean, you guys could correct me. I have no idea. I'm just playing the game that was made. I didn't make it. I don't have a flashlight. Shoot. Holy mackerel. Yeah, that's good to see that you're on PC though. Really, it really is. I'm the same way. Like Call of Duty even, I played on PC. You know, I don't really do consoles anymore. I just, like, right now my camera, I could just go like this, you know, I could turn quick, I could move and then turn behind me like this, behind me, boom, 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 you know. Can't do that on a controller. Well, at least I can't. Okay, so I think I remember where this is, right? What time is it? Holy crap, guys. Time flies so fast. I gotta hurry up and go pick up my son soon. Alright, so we're inside the big giant cave. I feel like this bridge is going to collapse. What do you guys think? You think it's gonna break? I think it's gonna break. What games do you play on PC, by the way? Oh, what the? I was not paying attention. No. I knew that was gonna happen too. I called it. 1:50 p.m. Yes, 1:50 p.m. He gets out in like an hour and 20 minutes. Wow, unbelievable Trixz. And you know, the sad thing is I knew it and I still fell for it. But I ain't gonna...
You're fired!
Yeah. I'm super fired. Fire me, guys. Fire me. Let's do this again. I like the checkpoint system though. It's pretty nice. Some games are not that nice. Holy macaroni! Dude, you better climb up. You better climb up. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Go, go, go. Oh, we're already up.
Fuck, that was close.
Okay, made it to the top.
Yeah, they're good. Gotta give them that. They're trying to break me, but I know they're Soviet tricks. I won't let them know I saw them though. I'll play their game, but on my rules.
Wow. So we're gonna hurry to get back to the house and help out the wife, guys. She's in big trouble. We got rocks to go through. What's over here? Get in. Okay. Oh, let's go ahead and grab the pickaxe, play some Minecraft, get on through. Alright, let's move on, guys. Let's move it on. Get a duck. Duck again. Yo, this cave collapse, I'm done. Like, we will be trapped forever. Huh. All right, before we go going that way, what's over here? I don't know which way to go. All right, let me check this room first, just because I don't wanna miss anything. I don't know the password. Macaroni. I have no idea, dude. I can go back. There's got to be. Does it say? Okay. There might be, maybe there's a clue down this way. Let's check it out. Holy shiznits! We fell even deeper. Really?
You're trying to intimidate me, and that's the basis of all controls. Suckers, you think you can break me like that? With an animal carcass? With a few dead bodies? Seriously? Who do you think I am?
Okay. I think I see the house. Oh yeah, we see the house, guys. I completely missed a few things, but that's okay. Alright, let's move out, guys. Be careful. I think we're going this way. I'm stuck. Oopsie daisy. I just murdered myself. Not good. Let me go grab me some water real quick. Who's screaming over there? Yeah. Hi. There you go. That's how you do it. All right, let's try it again. Trixz, you done it again. Screwed up big time, guys. A whole different area. Oh, yeah, I knew that. Take the rope down, guys. That would be smart, wouldn't it? Okay. This guy is like on a workout right now. There's the house, guys. I don't think we could just take the water, can we? Oh, we could.
Fucking commies can't hide from them. They'll follow you to the end of the world, but if I tell anyone, they'll think I'm crazy, and that's what commies want. That's how they break their enemies, the dirty bastards. They think they can send a fake cop here and I'd fall for that like a rookie? No, ain't gonna be that easy with me.
Wow, my guy is going crazy. Yeah, well, you know what? Why is my car over here? There's a piece of paper in there. To the windows here. But he's in my office. Better not be. Watching you. Wipes in my room. Why's my window busted? Where's the sheriff at? Yeah, curtains up now. All right, come on. Who's here? In my house. I'm gonna go upstairs real quick because I know she's downstairs in my room, but where's everybody else? Okay. Guess we're going downstairs into my office, guys. And why my office of all places? I find it kind of suspicious. And why? Where is the sheriff? He better not be in the room alone.
Honey, what's going on? Why is there a...
Where have you been? Where the hell have you been?
You know, I wanted to find the... Why are you crying? What's...
Was I gone that long?
6 hours?
What? What?
You were gone for 6 hours. You went and just vanished.
I didn't vanish. I just tried to remove those damn bugs.
What bugs? What are you talking about? You left me all alone, and some psycho slashed our tires.
Are you serious?
I called the sheriff, but when we were in front of the house, that guy broke in. Into your office.
What do you mean, broke in? Are you kidding me?
I saw the busted window.
Fuck. The telegrams. That son of a bitch took the telegrams.
The sheriff noticed the broken window as soon as we went back home and...
Wait a minute. Who gave you the right to let strangers in, to go through my stuff?
He's a sheriff, not a stranger. Besides...
Sheriff my ass. You have no idea how capable the people who want to get me are. They can impersonate anyone. Don't you realize that what I do affects millions of people?
You think I'm stupid? I called for help because someone's stalking us. Besides, the guy couldn't have gone far, and the sheriff is after him. You don't have to act like such a dick. It was me that was in danger. Me, not your nameless millions.
Wow. Wow.
Fuck. What a mess. Hopefully he's left some traces.
Just
I better look
wow.
around.
They took my stuff. Son of a biscuits. Oh, I don't need to worry about this.
Maybe the device will find some traces. Bingo. He escaped through the window and probably moved towards the bridge. I need to search the office thoroughly.
Well, that's something we're good at because we do this all the time. What am I looking for? Alright, let's get these open. Our wife is very mad at us, guys. He was really worried because for 6 hours I didn't come home. She called the sheriff. What if the sheriff is working together with this person? Or maybe I'm just overreacting, right?
I feel like I've missed something. I should check all the clues first.
Watch out for spotters. Watch out for sparrows.
What's that supposed to mean? Whatever happens, don't leave the house and don't let anyone in until I come back.
You're leaving me again? Are you crazy? The sheriff is on it. Let it go.
The sheriff doesn't know what he's dealing with. If he really is who he says he is in the first place, he won't help anything.
Don't be paranoid. The police are on our side.
No one's on our side, Emma. No one. No point hanging around here. I've got to get him before he's off the radar.
Thank you, Solid. Thank you.
He knows that very well. Maybe I'll find another signal outside.
Okay, so we're gonna go back outside, guys, and then... So the sheriff went after the guy, so we need to go outside. Let's go out to the back door here real quick. Alright.
I just hope I don't lose the trail. I can't see anything with my naked eye, but maybe the localizer will help. The sheriff probably went for the bridge. That's where I should start looking.
Okay, well, we're gonna go to the bridge first, and just to kind of see what's going... Oh, this is where I originally was. Oh, now the bridge is magically working.
At least I know which way he went.
I have a prop... Really?
Nearby. I'll check the area around the bridge. I think I'm on the right track.
Okay, Mr. Sheriff. The tower, Hillside Inn, and the shore. Which way do I need to go? This way? We're in big trouble. Big trouble. We got a signal again, guys. This is where we were when we was the other guy.
The signal is stronger. I'm getting close.
Alright,
He went up and cut the rope. Maybe I can find a side passage.
Oh, I still got the pickaxe. Gotta carry that with you. You might need it. I think we're going the right way right now, which is good. Where the heck are we going?
David, Emma, me, and my parents. And the movers. Who else knows our location? Someone from the office. Did Emma blurt it out to some friends? I don't think so. And I was cautious. I didn't leave any trail. Fuck, why can't I crack it?
This guy, my guy's going crazy. He's going berserks right now, guys. All right, we got another signal. It looks really nice around here. Look at this. Beautiful. Alright, let's follow this up, follow the trail, see what we get. We gotta figure out what is going on and whether or not the sheriff is actually on our side or working with the enemy. What the heck?
Damn, it's an electric fence. I need to find a way to switch it off. An electric fence. What is it doing here?
Okay, so it looks like we got the power. We got red, green, and blue. And green and blue are the only things running, but then red is here. Well, let's follow the red.
Where could these wires lead?
Uh-huh.
One down. There's more.
Okay. Got blue and green, guys. Let's follow it up. Oh, blue goes pretty far. These are some pretty bright wires. Like, they just stick out. Yeah, jump on it. Oh. Oh.
Second one done. I think there's just one left.
What the hell's going on? Why is the music playing like that? The game knows I'm going to follow the blue wire. Follow the blue one back. We're going to go ahead and finish off with the green, right? Green, yeah, green. There's the green wire, guys. Let's break these wooden planks off. Come on, Thomas. We got this, bro. Oh, yeah. All right, where did that green one go? Right here?
That was the last one. I won't be electrocuted now.
Holy shoot, what the? Alright, let's follow it back. Let's get going. But why the electric fence? That even puts me at a stump. Okay, let's get the hell out of here. Check what localizer has found. Okay. Other direction. Second, guys. Let me see if I did grab me some wood. I forgot about that. Okay. Which way am I going? This way? That's a oh, all right. I think we need to go around. Oh, there is no going around. Gotta get up there. Oh, I think I see it already. Hold on, this was the fence. Okay, so we're gonna follow it along this way then. I think we're going up to that top tower there. What's over here? Probably be somewhere we have to go later on. Got the fire watch, the graveyard, oh, and a chapel. It's got bad news written all over it. Got a cabin here.
He was in this building, but the door's locked now. I'll follow him some more.
Okay. These people are heavily guarded. They make sure. Fire watch.
Signal is coming from the tower.
Okay. Up to the top of the tower we go. I don't like heights, but it's okay. We got this. Okay.
Damn, I'm not really scared of heights, but I better be careful.
Wow, these people got a bunch of gear and everything, guys. That's wide open. Look at that. They're watching the house.
I shouldn't have left her alone again.
Wow. You should have just came with me. Probably the last time we're gonna see her watch. I mean, these guys mean business. Okay, we took them all out. Let's get going. Let's get back inside.
I was right. He's not here. I should look around. It looks like he was hiding something in here.
Cabin. I hope it will open the door in the cabin down there.
This must be the key to the house. Let's see what he's hiding there.
I mean, I like the layout of the environment. I think it looks. Hey. Can we look to the telescope again? Oh, I feel like I can fall real easy. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and go through this man's cabin and see what we got here, guys. That is something. I'm about to finally get inside. Am I going this way?
We must find out how to open that goddamn basement. Okay, so I'll storm in and give the guy hell until he tells me everything. I just hope his English is better than my Russian. Motherfuckers, they know everything about us. Everything. Fuck, they've been watching our every move. Even here, where we were supposed to be off their radar.
Yeah, these guys really mean business.
That's probably the basement door. But where can I get the password? The door is locked. Enter the password.
Okay. Adam woke up at 5:21 a.m. Even though he couldn't get to sleep until late at night. Emma got up at 8:40 a.m. Then they had breakfast together. When she asked him if he slept well in the new house, he lied and said that he actually slept 5-6 hours a day, sometimes less. It's not the only thing he's not honest with his wife about. Emma doesn't tell her and everything either. Both claim they trust each other completely, but that's not the case. These days, you can trust no one, not even yourself. Wow. Blue car. All three does. All three have safely arrived. Oh, they know about the baby? What? Walkie-talkie glasses, private place, bunch of things hanging around. We got a desk. Look at that in a moment here. Here we check everything. Yeah, guys, this is crazy.
Nothing in here. Need to find the slide.
Oh, +3, -1. Okay, well. All right, then. Nope.
What is that son of a bitch up to?
Got a bunch of stuff around, though, for sure.
Thermochromic pigment. It has something to do with temperature.
Wow.
He's marked the places with the relays on the map. It seems I've gotten rid of them all. So we had been bugged all along. Fuck me.
So I did take out all the bugs then? Found something under a plank when he took boxes to the attic. What he found is more important than he might think. Sometimes looks like she's afraid of something. She was the one who insisted on the move. Talked to D, but he has no idea. Let's contact somebody else. Let's just say I see and hear more. Wow. He doesn't know what my actions mean. He doesn't understand why I'm doing all this. He thinks I've got bad intentions. Thought something happened to him. Called for help. In critical moments, it's easier to expose someone's true intentions. I can see and hear everything. No detail can escape my notice. The Cold War isn't just about nations. It's concerned individuals too. The Iron Curtain, I remember that's a Soviet thing, still stands between us, but soon it will be raised. Wow. Okay. Going upstairs. Slide. Take it. See what this slide's all about, guys.
My gut tells me someone has written something here, but I can't make it out. There must be a way to unravel it.
Well, we'll figure it out here
A
soon.
book on encrypting. Someone has marked certain pages.
Wow, this guy was trying to do what I was doing. Wow.
Maybe I should check what this button does.
Okay.
Lost. I wouldn't be so sure. Did he mention the copies? Should have thought about that before. He already knows more than we wanted him to. The handler is concerned. We've got a serious conversation ahead of us.
Who's behind all this? Since when have they been doing it? If they had me exposed, why didn't they steal the telegrams before?
Wow. Target B4? Oh, that's smart. Oh, hold on a second. So B4 will be one of the letters then. So B4 is V. Probably more we need to do here, guys. Alright, hold on a second, because there's clipboards all over the place.
I better check what this lever is for.
Ooh, oh. Okay, so hold on, we got 3. The heck, A3? B4? Oh, okay, hold on a second. A3 would be X. B4. And it stays there, so that's perfect. All right. D2. I, but I'm not gonna do that yet. We gotta find out where the other one is. Okay, hold on. There's one more we're missing. D3. D2. They gave us, well, probably just D2. It changes? Wow. Okay, hold on a second. Put this down. We got A3, B4, D2. Well, what the heck is C? C is something. I think it's got to do with this clipboard in here.
It works. I'm starting to make out the letters.
D1. Okay, we got it. Okay, so back here again. A3, B4, 1, D2.
Finally. Now I can go in the basement and deal with that fucker.
It's probably a bad place to be at right now, buddy. You're down here without a gun or anything. Holy crap, time flies, guys. We got like 15 minutes maybe. Get the projector and everything else. So he probably knows I'm here, so let's be careful.
So much blood. What's happened here?
This is probably bad news. Oh, is that the sheriff?
Slaughtered. Like an animal. Fuck me, I don't get it. Who could have done this? And why?
Oh boy.
Luckily you didn't destroy them. I finally made it to the mine, but something followed me.
Cop is moving. Dude, the cop was following you. What are you doing? Whoa! Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That is crazy. We're already in chapter 8, guys. I think that's good. This is probably a good sign that I'm gonna have to get off real quick and then come right back on later, maybe. Probably tomorrow.